Do you ever look at somebody else's life and think, I wish I had their life? What about me? Why isn't my life so good like theirs? If that's the case, then today's name is for you, name of Allah Ar Rahim. But before we get into today's name, why is it that we're learning about Allah's names? It's because to know Him is to love Him. How can we claim we love someone we don't know? So each day of Ramadan we'll be discovering one name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because once we know Him, we can't help but fall in love with Him. And once we fall in love with Him, we'll start to show up differently in our life. We'll start to worship Allah as though we can see Him, which is the highest level of Iman, the level of Ihsan. And ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tara. Bismillah, let's begin. And let's begin with the story of the man in the cave in Surah Al-Kahf, which we recite every Friday. It's such a beautiful story because it really shows Allah's name Ar-Rahim. These men were young in age and they were part of a city that worshipped idols, and they were about to have this festival that were worshipping idols, and anyone that didn't worship these idols would be killed. And these men come from prestigious homes, and they have a standing in society, and they come from wealth and noble men. And so they decided to do something. They believed in Allah and they didn't want to partake in all of these gatherings because they knew that that's not what they believed. And so they left the comforts of their own homes, their own standings in society for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They decided to go and hide inside a cave. So they didn't partake in these festivities and they didn't get killed. They left everything behind for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As they were sitting in this cave, they fall asleep, and subhanallah, it's so incredible how Allah is Ar-Rahim. These men don't fall asleep for one day, they fall asleep for 300 years. And what's so beautiful is Allah tells us in the Quran is that He flips them from their right hand to their left hand side, flips them so that their bodies don't decay, subhanAllah, so their bodies move, which is so incredible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that the dog was at the foot of the cave, so that if anyone was passing by, they'd be scared and they'd think, oh, okay, no, I shouldn't go there. It's so incredible how Ar-Rahim was looking out for them. Ar-Rahim was sending down His special mercy on their believers, on those that worshipped Him. It's so incredible. They woke up and they asked each other, oh, we've been asleep for quite a while. How long have we been sleeping for? And they were saying, oh, maybe half a day or a full day. We're not sure, but they were very hungry. So they sent one of them to go down and to get them some food. But they're like, be careful, you don't want to get killed. Make sure you're not spotted. So he goes down, one of the men, and he's just so surprised. He's like, what is this? This doesn't look like our city. Everything is different. People are talking about Allah. No one has to hide. What's happening? And then he goes to buy food. And as he's purchasing food, he's giving coins. And the man from the market is like, where did you get these from? He's like, told them the story. Like, yeah, the king and I live here. But these are the coins. And they were so amazed that he eventually goes before the king, who was a just ruler that believed in Allah, and he told him his story, and they cried. The believers cried. The king cried about this story, and then he went and he told back the rest of the group of men that were in the cave, and they came, subhanAllah, and they saw this as a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does this beautiful name Ar-Rahim mean? It's the one who's merciful, especially with the believers. It's a special type of mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends upon His believers. So Ar-Rahman is Allah's general mercy on all of His creation, right? He's looking out for disbelievers, creatures, animals, insects, everyone. That's Allah's name, Ar-Rahman. It's encompassing of everyone. But Ar-Rahim is specific mercy to the believers. Like, for example, in a school, if you go to a school, every student has access to classrooms, teachers, etc., right? The same resources. But some students get special distinctions and special honors for their behavior and how they show up and their exams. And to Allah is the highest example. Ar-Rahman is very general to all creation. Ar-Rahim is very, very specific to the believers. Ar-Rahim is this beautiful, beautiful mercy that Allah sends in terms of forgiveness, in terms of guidance. This beautiful name is protection. It is forgiveness. It is It is entry to Jannah. It is protection from Jahannam. The fact that we are alive and we're experiencing another Ramadan is Allah's name Ar-Rahim. The fact that He sends us days and nights so that we can be expiated from our sins, that we could be saved from Jahannam, is Allah's name Ar-Rahim. Scholars also say that this name is also reserved for the Day of Judgment, that Allah's name Ar-Rahim comes into full effect during the time of the Day of Judgment for the believers. This name brings us so much comfort. The fact that you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah means you have access to Allah's name Ar-Rahim, the special mercy. So look at Ramadan, look at tonight, the fact that you've lived for another night of Ramadan as a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So use this night to thank Ar-Rahim for being alive and for being able to fast and to pray and to do any acts of worship that you're able to. If you've loved today's name, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram and YouTube. Tell me what you love and resonating from today's name. And until tomorrow, Assalamu alaikum.
قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم